Hello and welcome to another episode of AutoCar Professional Dialogue. Today we have with us Mr. Naveen Munjal, Managing Director of Hero Electric. Mr. Munjal, thank you very much for talking to us and for sparing out the time.
Thank you, man. Pleasure being here today.
Hero Electric has been in the news for of late, and for all the good reasons, I should say. You've been tying up with a lot of new companies, and you are bringing a lot of new products. So, what are your expectations from the EV industry right now? We are seeing sales literally, they are just skyrocketing, and also the fuel prices are one of the key reasons that are driving this thing. So, what do you see in the near future about the sales in the EV space in the Indian market?
Man, a pleasure being here today. So what we're going to actually see is we've already embarked on the journey of hockey stick growth, as you call it. So we are going to see substantial increase in sales moving month on month, year on year, going forward from here on. The market conversion from IC to electric has already begun in India. Numerous policies, numerous steps why it's happened, why we've reached the stage what we are. It's taken us a while to get here, but nevertheless we are in a very, very good position right now. So there's a number of factors that I can talk about. One, of course, we've got strong policies in place. We've got a strong central policy, then we've got a number of state policies which help in adoption of EVs. We've got financing which is becoming more prevalent, which was a big challenge earlier. So the vehicle pricing has come down, financing has become more prevalent, B2B conversion is on the way. It's improving now far better than what it was earlier. The supply chain to get that in place earlier used to be a huge challenge. Now what we find is there's a number of companies who are willing to invest into this. In fact, now it's a challenge of plenty, if I may say in that manner. So there are a number of factors because of which this conversion is now already begun and is going to continue accelerating. As we find more awareness coming into place, as we find people becoming more aware of electric, of the benefits of electric. And there could be for various reasons. It could be the convenience or ease of use. It could be economic in terms of purchase price. It could be the TCO, the total cost of ownership of a vehicle. It could be their bit doing for the environment, or it could just be that I want a second vehicle which is going to take me to a neighborhood coffee shop or a golf course, and which is why we've got numerous different platforms that we've launched for this category. And we've got 6 platforms now that we've just launched, the Eddy, and we've got 6 platforms which are catering to different segments. So we believe that this market is now on a positive path. We are going to see huge amount of growth going forward from here on, and there is going to be a substantial conversion that has already begun to happen.
Right. So when you say that you're going to see huge growth going forward, so the fuel prices, do they also play a role in this? Because we are seeing right now the geopolitical situation around the world, with Russia and Ukraine crisis that is happening right now. So are fuel prices also going to push people more towards adopting electric in the near future then?
Certainly. Fuel prices, hike in petrol prices means the TCO gap, which is already wide, that widens even further in favor of electric. So even now, when you look at it, over 100 rupees a litre of petrol, and this is expected to go up. And once it goes up, that gap is only going to widen. Whereas when you look at from an electric perspective, we are kind of stable in terms of the pricing, in terms of the total cost of ownership. That's not going to increase. In fact, we're going to switch a large part of it in the next few years to solar as well, to renewable power. So there is a substantial benefit that we're going to see here. As inflation increases, we are going to see more adoption of people converting towards electric or opting for electric vehicles simply because of the cost factor.
Right.
So certainly going to help, certainly.
But we're also seeing inflation in the raw material prices as well. The same situation right now, Russia being a key supplier of nickel and other precious metals, and all these metals are being used in the batteries that are, driving these electric scooters. So what do you think is going to be the impact of this entire geopolitical situation on the raw material prices and then, to the pricing of your products?
See, we are not finding any impact of what's going on in Russia and Ukraine in that part of the world at this point of time in electric, and I don't think we will find that impact as well. So what is going to happen is oil prices, gas prices will go up.
Right.
Electric prices are not going to increase to that level because you have other sources where you can buy the materials from. So there are other supply chains also. You've got parts of Africa where you're getting it from DRC. You've got Latin America. You've got Australia. There are numerous places where these minerals are coming from. So we don't anticipate that there is going to be an impact of what's happening there. There's going to be a negative impact on the electric vehicles. In fact, it's going to be a hugely positive impact for electric mobility.
So have you already started to reach out to these alternate sources for these precious metals?
No, so that's not something that we do. So what we've got partners, we've got
suppliers,
suppliers, we've
right.
got the supply chain which
Mhm.
which works on the
Right.
on getting the raw materials. In fact, even that's probably tier 3 down.
Mhm.
It's not even tier 2 or tier 1. So it's probably tier 3 down, where the materials coming from some part of the world, they get processed into a battery, or it could be into the motor or in the electronic part of it, and these get processed, and then there is assembly that happens, and then it comes to us. So we are very far away from actually the raw material stage. We don't really work too much on the raw material
But
sourcing, etc.
are you seeing your tier 3 or tier 4 suppliers, have they begun this process already, or is there a need to do this at this point?
See, in terms of the raw materials, in terms of the materials that are being used, there wasn't too much of reliance on Russia in that part of the world.
Right.
In any case, they were coming in from Africa, they were coming in from China, they were coming in from Australia, they were coming in from Chile and other parts of the world. So there wasn't too much reliance on it. So we don't anticipate any kind of a negative impact on this at all.
Talking about your new platforms, you mentioned you've increased like 6 platforms at this point. So are you also looking at like battery swapping or these kind of solutions so that you're able to offer your products for a wider audience?
So it's interesting you say that, because we've just made an announcement yesterday for a tie-up with Sun Mobility, where we're launching 10,000 vehicles
Right.
very soon,
Right.
using the Sun system for battery swapping. So they're setting up the swapping system infrastructure for us, for our vehicles to use. So we are looking at it from multiple perspectives. So we would have vehicles which have a fixed battery, where you could charge it. See, first and foremost, there's 3 ways that you charge a vehicle battery. First is a fixed battery, the second is a swappable battery, and the third is a portable battery, what we have currently. Now, a fixed battery you need, and these vehicles are essentially going to get charged at night. So a fixed battery, you need that infrastructure where you're going to plug in the vehicle. In the absence of that infrastructure, you're going to have to go for another alternate system. Now, in swappable battery, you need the swapping stations. You have no ability to charge the vehicles at home. So in the absence of a dense swapping infrastructure, again, you need a third option. And that is where the portable battery comes into play, which is what we've been working on. And that's what across our product range. So we would have vehicles which have fixed battery as the ecosystem is expanding. We've already got numerous tie-ups in place for swapping as well, Sun being the announcement yesterday. And while that's the case, we would still have a large part of our product portfolio which would have the portable batteries. So you could plug it into a wall outlet should you have one, but if you don't, you can take it up to your apartment, plug it into a wall outlet, the way that you charge a computer thing, and then plug it back into the vehicle and off you go again. That gives you the ultimate mobility or the ultimate convenience. No going to a swapping station, no looking for a place to charge at night, etc. So we would have work on all 3 options. But at this point, in the short term, portable battery would be the mainstay, simply because other ecosystems have to fall in place, the infrastructure also has to fall in place.
So would you also be looking at collaborating with some infrastructure players so that there is charging network as well which is developed around these electric two-wheelers?
So we've announced numerous tie-ups for charging and for swapping. So we've got a tie-up, for example, we announced with the Long 9, which is going to be a rapid charging battery, where you can charge up the battery in a very short while, and it's got a very long life of the battery. Due to the weight of the battery and the chemistry that we're using there, it becomes non-portable. So there the solution is to actually charge it quickly. We've announced a swappable battery with Sun, where you can actually go to a swapping station and replace your battery. And then we've got the portable batteries. So for portable batteries, we've tied up with a number of companies. Even while we've got portable batteries, customers still have range anxiety issues. What if I run out of a charge? What happens? Where's my infrastructure? So while we've created 2,000 charging stations already, we've also partnered with companies like Massive and Charger, where they're going to be installing charging infrastructure for us, and that's already begun. So there are numerous collaborations and partnerships that we already have in place. There are more which are going to be announced going forward as well, across various spectrums, because this business, this industry, we believe is going to be more horizontal. So you will have a lot of partnership. It's not necessarily going to be that I'm doing everything myself. And that's the way that we believe this industry is going to evolve.
So what's the overall volume target for this year?
So this year, which is 21-22, we've already crossed 93,000 units for this year.
Okay.
So we would cross 100,000 as we had projected at the beginning of this year. Next year, we're looking at over tripling that. So we are going to go beyond 300,000 for next year.
So that would be done by utilizing the manufacturing capacity at Mahindra's plant as well as at Hero Electric.
Absolutely.
Sure. Final question, Mr. Munjal, and I think we've known this. It's been in the news for a while now. The tussle between Hero Electric and Hero MotoCorp. We've seen Hero MotoCorp now introducing a new brand for their EVs. So is the case finally over, or do you think there's still something to go in that? And are you still looking at an out-of-court settlement?
See, there is no out of court or anything that we're looking at. The matter is sub judice, so I can't really talk in great detail about it. But I'm glad, that they have come out with the product, which is not a Hero product in that manner.
Okay. So the Vida brand that they'll use, so they'll be going with it, and you'll be remaining with the Hero Electric.
I don't know what the strategies are, and this is a part which I really can't comment too much on at this point of time, simply because there's things evolving.
Right.
So I don't really have an answer for you at this point.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Munjal.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for time. Thank you.
You.